October 7th at 6 p.m. at the Patio Commons as we present for induction the Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2022. 9-member class includes Jack Lima and Keenan Chapman from men's basketball, Steve Cherundolo from men's soccer, Lakin Delente from women's basketball, Joe Driscoll from men's cross country and track, Julie Elliott Metzger from women's track and field, Lindsay Ewing and Aaron Masaki from women's soccer, and Bill Reed as a meritorious honoree. For ticket information, go to portlandpilots.com/HOF. At this time, we'd like to thank the following generous partners for their support of Pilot Athletics: Nike, Coca-Cola, U.S. Bank, Portland, North America, Les Schwab Tire, Northwest Navigator, Brand Live, and Kennedy Dental. Fans, be sure to follow Portland Pilots on all your favorite social media platforms and download the Portland Pilots app. Visit portlandpilots.com for the latest news, rosters, schedule, and information about your favorite pilot team.
Side here.
for some afternoon volleyball action as we welcome you to the Rose City for WCC clash between the San Diego Toreros and the Portland Pilots. San Diego enters unbeaten in conference while Portland looks to shock the volleyball community. Welcome inside the Child Center for today's volleyball action. I'm Brian Slyke, joined by former pilot Carly Dumanin, and we're glad you can join us today. San Diego, number 4 nationally, is a difficult matchup for anybody, but Portland played well versus BYU on Thursday. So Carly, what are you expecting between these two today?
Well, like you said, Brian, it's going to be another challenging match for the Pilots. With San Diego being ranked 4th in the nation, Portland has their work cut out for them. But I feel they put up a really great fight in the last 2 sets with BYU, so hopefully they can take that mindset into today's match.
Well, one of the leading forces for the Toreros is former National Player of the Week, Grace Froling.
Yeah, she's the tallest player on San Diego, standing at a meager 6'5", so she's got a little height on her. She leads the team in aces, she's 3rd in kills, and she was named first team All-West Coast Conference for the past 3 years, so she's a very talented athlete.
Well, for Portland, they've shifted their lineup a bit this season, and they wanted Charity Bradley to take on a larger role as of late.
Yeah, I feel like she's a great utility player for Portland. She's a strong server, a solid passer, and she brings height to the net in the middle for hitting and blocking, which will be really important for the Pilots today.
The Pilots, they're looking for their 10th win ever against San Diego and their first since 2016. How do they accomplish that today?
Well, with San Diego being such a heavy hitting team, University of Portland has definitely got to make sure they set up and close their block to help their defense. Second, they need to serve tough to keep the Toreros out of system as much as possible. And last, they need to play their game. Portland's got a different arsenal and style of play, so they need to not get hung up on trying to hit like San Diego, but play to their strengths and be scrappy to win those long rallies.
Well, a national power enters the Child Center. The Pilots look to play spoiler this afternoon. WCC Volleyball coming at you next. Welcome back inside the Child Center, just moments away from the start of set number 1 between San Diego and Portland. Brian Slyke and Carly Dumanin with your call. Let's get you the starters for the San Diego Toreros today. In the back row, it's the libero. It's going to be Annie Benbow. Layla Blackwell will get the start. Haley Stoner also gets the start out of the middle. Grace Froling, our player to watch, will be swinging from the right side. And then Gabby Blossom, the transfer from Penn State, will be somebody you want to keep an eye on. Soft hands as the setter. Katie Lukes will be swinging on the outside. And then Maddie Allen will be the defensive specialist today for the Toreros. And now let's get you the starting lineups for the Portland Pilots. The senior Jade Harris leads all Pilots in kills this season. Maui Robbins, the freshman from Hawaii, gets the start. Noelani Helm will be the setter. Grace Silbert, the libero, in the back row. Charity Bradley and Emma Sweat will be the middle blockers. And then Lucia Busso will get her 2nd career start after a 10-kill performance against BYU on Thursday.
Yeah, Brian, she was definitely a firecracker and brought a lot of excitement to the court and really picked up her team when it needed to happen.
Yeah, like I just said, 10 kills for the true freshman from Italy. And mind you, that was only the 2nd game she'd ever played this season. Her first one coming on Tuesday against LMU in limited action. Portland will be in their black uniforms. Zilbert, the libero, will be in white. The Toreros will wear what would be baby blue, sky blue.
Yeah.
Uniforms with their libero in white as well. That's Annie Benbow. Today's referees, Troy Gravette, the up ref, Donna Hess, the down ref, Tom Hurst, and Kelly Damianou will be the line judges today. Well, two different coaches here. We've got a third-year head coach in Megan Burton for Portland. So far, they're off to their best season under her helm. And then on the other side of the net, you've got Jennifer Petrie, who's in her 24th season. She's looking for win number 460 today. Wow. And there's a look at her right there. She's done a terrific job for San Diego. Currently has them number 4 in the nation. Multiple seasons where they finished in the top 25. And I believe it's 8 NCAA appearances for the Toreros as well.
It's a very impressive rap sheet there.
Well, when you've got success, you can stick around for a little bit, and she has in San Diego.
Yes, exactly.
Noelani Helm, the senior from Walla Walla, Washington, starts us off today. Lukes into the buckets, covered by Blossom. Free ball sent over by Benbow. Outside to Harris, off the block. Feed the middle, covered by Helm, out of system for Portland. Harris into the block, and you're not going to cover that one in right back. That's a difficult one.
For sure.
Block for San Diego, as Benbow will go back to serve. I want to talk about the game against BYU for Portland on Thursday. Now, they started slow in the block category. I don't think they had a block in the first set. And then they closed out with 6 blocks on the match. Here's a set to the middle. It's Busso, and the Pilots can't cover, as Stoner was there on the block.
Right. I feel like they finally kind of got things together and made a huge impact in the last set, especially getting a few blocks in here and there, or soft blocks to slow the ball down so the defense could pick up a few of those plays and stay in those long rallies. Really made a difference in that last set against BYU.
And you bring up a great point, as the communication right there between Lukes and Blossom. Couldn't figure out which one was going to send it over. But closing out the block, the soft blocks you were just talking about, I think that's going to be big for Portland. We talked about just the regular blocking in the open, but getting the soft blocks and allowing your back row to get to some of those hits that San Diego's going to have. There's a block by Portland. That one's up at the net, and Busso doesn't win the joust, but Portland pops it up. Busso with the cut, it goes out of bounds, so that point will go to the Toreros. But right there, you're seeing a good block right there by Portland. Now, they didn't get the point. You know, some scrappy play right there by San Diego. Pops that ball up, but encouraging things early on here against San Diego.
Definitely.
Grace Froling serves. Robbins swings, off the block, goes out of bounds, and that'll be a kill for the freshman from Hawaii. Get another look at it right here.
Oh yeah, nice high, right off high hands. Portland will take that.
1 point lead for San Diego's Grace Zilbert. Back to serve for Portland. Back set, Stoner tips it over the block. Robbins chases it. And a good thing she slowed down. She was going to go right into the seats. Katie Lukes, the redshirt senior from San Clemente, California, leads the team in kills this season. She's averaging just under 3.5 kills per set. The jump serve, Zilbert got a touch on it near the sideline. Maui's Robbins sends the free ball over. Back row attack for Lukes, and it found its way into the court. Portland saying that one was out of bounds.
A lot of question mark faces on the Portland side there, but
you'll get a good look at it right here on this replay.
Ooh,
that one might have been out of bounds, but what arm side cut right there, though.
Seriously, she winds up.
That serve is long past the end line.
Yeah, with her body facing one way and then she cuts it around the other way, that's very challenging to defend.
And usually if you're in the back row, you can sort of pick up on shoulder tendencies and where that ball is going to go. But man, that was a tough one to get a read on, as that serve is long. So back-to-back service errors.
But I mean, that's the error that you kind of want, right? That's
Yes.
really close to the line. They have to make that decision, and sometimes they'll go for balls that might be going out.
And that's something that plagued Portland on Thursday against BYU. It's a tip from Bradley, and it's still alive by the Toreros. We'll get back to that thought on the serves in a second. Robbins will get the kill. There's a touch at the net and a point for the Pilots. But going back to Thursday against BYU, we saw so many serves that just went into the net, and you didn't have to challenge or make the opposing team think about it.
It's just a guaranteed point. They just had to stand there.
So that's why you're okay with Busso on that long serve that just missed the end line. And Robbins, same as Busso, sends it long.
Trolling in the lineup, replacing Bennett for the Toreros.
Harrison Bradley swinging for Portland in this rotation. Helm can't chase it down. That's an ace for the Toreros. Gabby Blossom serving for San Diego. The transfer from Penn State. In fact, there's 3 different players from the Big Ten Conference on San Diego's roster. And if you are familiar with the competition of volleyball in the Big Ten, that's a great conference for volleyball. As this ball's tipped, and Mumolo got her hand underneath it. That's the pancake. Rolling into the block. Harris puts a free ball middle of the court. Benbow, tight pass at the net, and put down by Layla Blackwell. She too a transfer from the Big Ten Conference, came from Indiana, originally from San Diego, so she made her way back home.
Okay. I mean, it's a nice place to live.
Hard to pass up the sunshine all year round. Terrific roll by Harris, but popped up by San Diego. Edwards on the swing. Zilbert got the dig, and Harris will get the kill.
Harris on the left side, point Pilots. Sweat into the front row for Portland.
Great dig.
Yeah,
right
Zilbert
there
right
Zilbert.
there. She propelled that play. If she doesn't get there, I mean, that's the end of it all.
Yep.
Charity Bradley, our player to watch today, back to serve. The transfer from Washington State, second year on the bluff. And early on, that's 3 service errors now by Portland.
Allen for Edwards at server for San Diego.
Maddie Allen will come into the game. Brianna Edwards will head to the bench. Allen, a transfer from BYU, spent the last couple of seasons in Provo, Utah. Sweat takes the serve. They feed it to Harris. Tip over the block. Blossom comes flying in for the first touch. And Katie Lukes doing what she does best for the Toreros, gets a kill. She muscles that one through the block. Allen, third on the team in aces this season. She has 10, and she just got her 11th.
Allen with an ace, point San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego's definitely stealing a play from Portland's playbook. They are serving very challenging at the Portland Pilots right now.
2 aces on the Pilots as Allen goes back to the service line again. And 3 aces, she gets some help from the tape, and Coach Burton calling a timeout. It's 13-5 in set number 1 between San Diego and Portland. Toreros lead. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. There's a look at Jade Harris, the senior leader for this Pilot Club. 1 kill so far today. Now it's 13-5. San Diego leading Portland. Brian Slyke and Carly Dumanin with your calls. Helm running through, saves it for Portland. Out of the middle, that one is out of bounds. Blackwell went arm side swing, and that'll give Portland a point. Now, we were just talking at the break. Portland, since they were trailing by 8 before that last point, what do they need to do to get back into set 1 here and, you know, build some momentum going the rest of this match?
Well, definitely with their serve receive, they've got to have a little bit better ball control. I mean, you can see Helm is just having to run around the court right now, and so obviously can't set her hitters the way she wants to. And 2, just eliminate those unforced errors. We've had too many service errors in this match to really be competitive.
Benbow back to serve. And another ace, the 4th one in this set. San Diego's averaging just about 1.5 aces per set this season, so already 4 here in this set, and then you add on the 3 service errors by Portland. That's 7 points. Harris passes, set to the middle, it's Sweat. Blossom with the dig. Zilbert got a fist on it. Pilots send a free ball over, back right corner. Froling had to reach behind her on that set. Busso will get the kill. Block sends it out of bounds.
Right,
You'll get a look on this replay.
Oh, what a great dig.
Zilbert has done some terrific things for Portland this season in the back row. Zilbert, another fist to pop it up. And the quick out to Lukes. Now, at the very beginning, I said you're going to have to keep an eye on Gabby Blossom because her hands, she's got such a soft touch and so deceptive that she can go anywhere with that set.
Right, it's reminiscent of Misty May, like you just go up and she's just like effortless as she lets the ball leave her hands. And you just don't know where she's going.
Robbins goes cross, dug up by Allen. And a kill out of the middle by Haley Stoner, the sophomore from San Marcos, California. And a timeout call by Portland, their second of set number 1. It's 17-7 inside the Child Center. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Froling serving for San Diego. Robbins with the pass, and a back row attack for Portland. Works out in their favor. Jade Harris, another kill. That's something we haven't seen a lot from Portland so far this season. It's the back row attack, or at least I should say in the past. This season that we've seen that more from Jade Harris.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice option to have because she's such a versatile hitter, and then the block isn't as much of an impact because they're off the net.
Stoner on the slide sent that one out of bounds. So Zilbert will go back to serve again. And the other thing to think about with how the passing has been so far early in set one. If you have her in the back row, that sort of makes it easier for your setter. You don't have to be as pinpoint accurate on your set when you're on the run. It's just another outlet for her. As Kylie Prees will check in now. She will serve for Katie Lukes. Prees, a junior from San Juan Capistrano, California. All WCC honorable mention last season. Great pass from Robbins. Set to the outside. And it's Brianna Edwards with the kill. Edwards, a grad transfer from Indiana, originally from Oregon. Mom played volleyball at U of O. And then, you know, volleyball runs in the family because her dad was her high school coach as well.
That's awesome.
Into the net for Prees. Lucia Busso back to serve. Dump by Blossom. She barely even got off the ground either to make that dump.
Right, and Lucia had probably just had gotten to her base position as that ball came over the net.
Alex Hoagland will come in and serve. Stoner will go to the bench. Hoagland, normally a setter, junior from Berkeley, California. As she gets an ace, 5th one of this set. Now Portland struggled out of the gate against BYU on Thursday, but they were able to rally and make it a tough match in sets 2 and 3. So you hope to see the same out of Portland as they trail by 11 right now. Dime pass from Mumolo, and that'll be a kill for Bradley.
Stoner returns for Hoagland. For the try.
Robbins serving for Portland. Into the net. And her serving woes continue from Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, that can plague a young player. You know, it starts those memories of the last game and having so many service errors. It's just can be in the back of your mind when you go back to the end line.
San Diego attacks her right after the service error, and that set was far to the outside. Harris was fortunate to get it over. Tip, Bradley had the first touch. Harris will have to send a roll ball over. She gets the kill. Blackwell couldn't get underneath it.
Sweat into the front row.
Yeah, sometimes just a little off-speed shot is all you need.
Charity Bradley serving as Emma Sweat is now in the front row for Portland. And Benbow couldn't back up any further.
Good thing she's only, what'd you say, 5'3"?
She's 5'3", yeah.
Just slow, the ball just like almost skimmed the back of her hair as she ducked to get out of the way.
So Edwards heads to the bench. Maddie Allen will come in and serve. Hard roll by Harris, kept alive by Prees. Rolling will swing right side, the up by Robbins. Tight at the net, joust won by Portland, ball still alive. Slide for Sweat, Benbow. Benbow had the dig, but a net violation called on Prees of San Diego, and the point will go for Portland. What an up right there by Robbins. That whole sequence, well done by Portland. I'd still give credit to Benbow on that one to get the dig on the slide.
As a libero, you're like, oh man, when that's such a great effort and have it be called off because of a net violation.
Busso went line and it's long. Stoner will come into the game. Blackwell to the bench as Benbow back to serve. Benbow was first team All-WCC last season, starting all 28 matches for San Diego. And Busso fisted a ball over. And that will end it. That was set point 25-13. San Diego takes set one. We'll be right back in just a few minutes for set number 2 on the WCC Network. Welcome back onto the bluff here in North Portland for set number 2 between San Diego and Portland. The Toreros took set 1 25-13. Now Portland had a similar outcome against BYU on Thursday. I believe that one was 25-12 in set 1, but they really came back and played tough, scrappy defense, how we've seen them play a couple times already this season. And then their blocking came alive. They had no blocks in that first set. So let's see if that picks up for Portland. Benbow, the dig. Lukes, again, just powers one through the block of Helm and Bradley.
Yeah, she seems to be attacking that seam of the block, and even though there was a touch off and it slowed it down too much for the defense to react to it.
Mumoa in the game for Portland in the back row. Set to the outside, it's Harris. She tips it over the block. Blossom has the first touch. Dump! Perfectly executed by Helm. Well, there's not a lot of tape of that so far this season because they've been running 2 setters for most of the year. Now they just transitioned to using the 1 setter. Yes. And you'd think they would give it back to Harris. She put it up high enough to where Jade could get to the outside herself, but instead Helm goes for the dump.
She's got to make her presence known as an offensive player too.
Yeah, exactly, as Blackwell gets the kill.
Stoner into the front row.
And what makes San Diego so effective is their ability to use their middles right now.
For sure.
I mean, 6 kills between their 2 middles so far. Good slide by Emma Sweat. Another dump. And a net violation called on San Diego. And I don't know if you saw Helm's face. I don't know if she thought she was going to get called for something. But
right, like she was maybe fading into the net.
She was fortunate right there. You can sort of see she was backing up towards the net, but San Diego gets called forward first. Now Helm will go back to serve. Back set. Froling again.
I mean, that was just such a perfectly executed play. Beautiful pass to the setter. She had 3 choices and can be deceptive, and then Froling just puts it away.
Back set to Harris, had the double blocks off touch, and Froling. Feet were stuck in quicksand right there.
Yeah.
Just couldn't quite move those feet to get in the right position.
Well, and with Harris reaching for those high hands, you know, it does make it harder for their defense to react to it.
Edwards in the back row, and an error from the service line for Portland. Lukes will go back to serve. In the last 2 seasons, looking back at Katie Luke's stats, she only has 9 matches as she gets an ace where she didn't have double-digit kills, which is really impressive, especially for the San Diego team where you've got so many weapons that you can feed.
Yeah, so I was thinking if you have one, you know, Michael Jordan kind of player that you just go to, yeah, their stats are going to be great, but with having that much artillery.
Tight set.
Says a lot.
And they're going to call over by Helm. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different options that you can feed. And with Blossom as your setter, I mean, you can basically just go to anybody, it seems like, in this offense. At any time, too. Into the net. Bradley will come back in. Sweat will go to the bench. Torero's up by 2 in set number 2. Zilbert serving. On the slide. And that will be a kill for Haley Stoner.
Stoner goes off the block and out of bounds. Point. San Diego. Blackwell into the front
Stoner,
row.
most recently named the Defensive Player of the Week last week. She had 14 blocks in 2 matches.
At first, when you said Defensive Player of the Week, I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, yeah. Blocking is the first line of defense.
The overpass kill for San Diego. As Stoner goes back to serve again. She was an all-WCC freshman team member as you get another look at that overpass kill. Great pass from Zilbert. She was going away from the court. And the chase down. She's all over the court right now. As that ball never made it over the net, so they were calling 4 touches on Portland. Back row attack for Harris, rolled it into the middle of the court. Bennett had the dig. Luke's on the tip, Zilbert putting an arm out there to keep it alive. Outside, Edwards, that one's long.
Whew, you just wanted to get out of the way of that one.
It's a lot of heat. So Busso, freshman from Italy, goes back to serve. Blackwell and Edwards in the front row for San Diego. Overpass, Bradley got a swing on it. San Diego makes a play, tip over the block. Robbins had to reach back behind her. Back row attack for Harris, she got the kill, back right corner. Good job of Robbins right there. If you saw on that one, she was ahead of that set and had to reach behind her, and she didn't airmail it. Usually you see that a lot when you have to reach behind you.
Exactly. If ball's behind you, you got to take a lot off of it, which is what the Toreros did not do just then.
There's that fastball from Edwards we just saw a few moments ago. This time makes contact with Jade Harris in the back row. Mumola will come into the back row for Busso. It's Bradley and Robbins swinging for Portland in this rotation. Pass over by the scores table and another ace for San Diego. 2 more in this set, 7 overall in today's match. Gabby Blossom back to serve. 2-time second-team All-Big Ten volleyball player. And a third-team All-American last season. That's a pancake, but it goes off the pin on the net. And that'll be a point for Portland. Good effort by Benbow, though, in the back row. A tip from Bradley, perfect spot.
Seriously, perfectly placed tip. And that started out with a great serve receive pass from Jade Harris.
Robbins serving. And she'll get an ace. Pilots get one back. And hopefully that boosts the confidence for Robbins at the service line.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, put that in your memory bank. Work with that.
Blossom pushes it all the way across court and a touch on the block, and that'll be a kill for Froling. Maddie Allen comes in for Edwards. Good pass from Robbins, the dump from Helm. Blossom was ready for it, though. Lukes winds up, sends it into the block. Mumoa in the right spot, and the deep tip by Harris ends up with a kill. She's got 6.
She's definitely just making this team come alive with all of her decisions as a hitter right now. Hitting it down line, having such great shots from the back row.
What I really love about that is her approach looked like she was going to put a full swing on it as Lukes gets the kill down line over Mumoa. But on that tip from Harris, again, she went up like she was going to get a full swing up on it, and then the quick push forward with her hand on the tip to push it in that back corner. Helm runs underneath it. Harris has to swing quickly. Soft block makes it easier for Benbow, and another kill out of the middle. This time it's Haley Stoner. 8 kills out of the middle right now for San Diego.
I mean, that makes such a huge difference when you can utilize your middle. Defensively, it's challenging to defend against middle attack.
Push to the outside. Soft block. Blossom had the first touch out of system for San Diego. Mumoa the dig, overpass, and the joust ends up on San Diego's side. Tight pass at the net. Lukes puts one into the block, kept alive by Maddie Allen. Another one into the block, and Helm can't pop it up with her elbow. And that'll send us to our media break. 15-9. Portland trailing by 6 to San Diego inside the Child Center. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. There's the leader for the Portland Pilots, Jade Harris. 6 kills so far in today's match. That's tied for the match high. Brian Slack and Carly Dumanin with your call. Out of the media break. Emma Sweat gets blocked by... It looked like Haley Stoner.
Zilbert was really covering her hitters there.
She was right behind. She's in the middle of everybody.
Right? And they all came tumbling down.
So the third block on the day for San Diego. Mumolo on the pass. Harris hard roll. There's nothing you can really do with that. Froling, it looked like she went over the block on that kill.
Right, and just the sheer angle of it and the speed. That's when you just give a little soft clap.
Yeah,
right. Good game right there.
Short serve. Benbow looked like she was going after Emma Sweat there in that rotation on serve receive, and just didn't have enough on that short serve. Gabby Goddard will check in now for San Diego, her first appearance in today's match. Stoner heads to the bench with a 7-point lead for the Toreros. Blossom feeds Goddard. Just came in, why not feed her? She gets the kill, and that's another one out of the middle for San Diego.
You gotta get warmed up somehow.
8-point lead for the Toreros here in set number 2. Back set to Harris. Covered by Helm, out of system for Portland. Give it back to Harris, she goes down line. And a net violation on San Diego. That's what leads to that kill. Benbow in the right spot. Second time that she's taken one down line and gotten it up. And it didn't count because there was a net violation. So Jade Harris serving.
She's like, guys, you're killing my dig percentage here.
She's done a great job in the back row today. Cross-court kill for Katie Lukes.
Lukes goes hard left side, point, San Diego.
Lukes now has 7 kills. Same with Jade Harris. And now Lukes will be substituted out for Kylie Prees.
Prees for Lukes at server for San Diego.
I want to talk about an athletic family for the Prees. She's playing Division I volleyball, and then her brothers are both in the Yankees and the Cleveland Guardians farm system. Good pass from Robbins, back set to Busso. Off the block, Benbow staying with it. Tight pass at the net. Edwards puts one down, and it looked like she was inside the block of Emma Sweat. The middle blocker, and a timeout called by Portland as the lead has been pushed to 9 by San Diego. It's 22-11 inside the Child Center. We'll be right back on the WCC Network.
More or less.
Noelani Helm, the center for Portland. At one point this season, she was playing all the way around as Zilbert chases down that pass from Robbins, and a free ball sent over by Portland. Tight at the net. Goddard gets the kill on the right side. As I was saying about Helm, though, she has 4 triple-doubles. Now, she's been passed recently, but she's second in the country in triple-doubles because she was swinging when there was 2 setters in the system for Portland this season, so she'd be swinging on the right side in the front row.
Yeah, she's got a lot of tools in her tool belt.
Prees serving. Line drive right at Zilbert. Back set to Busso. And it wasn't pushed out to the pin as much. Busso had to come in, and that ball never made it over the net. 11-point lead for San Diego here in set number 2. Dime pass from Zilbert as Yellen Larson comes in for her first swing. And that's past the end line. Portland wanted a touch, and there's actually going to be a timeout call by Coach Burton, so it's 23-11 here in set number 2. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Prees serving, and that's a service error on San Diego as we welcome you back inside the Child Center. Brian Slyke, Carly Dumanin with the call. So 23-12. Portland mixing up their lineup, I should say. Yellen Larson is now in for today's match for the last couple of points, and that's her first action today. Goddard will leave. And Anna Jarowski back to serve. Jarowski coming in for the first time today. Junior defensive specialist from Chicago, Illinois. Helm from the 10-foot line outside to Larson. And the freshman from Sweden gets the kill. And that block was late.
Yep, she definitely attacked that seam. Took advantage of it.
13, set point.
Busso will go back to serve now. Set point, 24-13. Deep serve from Busso. And I don't hate that one either. It looked like it was coming down at about the right time. It just missed that end line, and that will end set number 2. It's 25-13 again inside the Child Center. We'll be back in about 5 minutes for set number 3 between San Diego and Portland on the WCC Network. Welcome back onto the campus of the University of Portland. A gorgeous day here on the Bluff, as we're just a couple minutes away from set number 3 between San Diego and Portland. San Diego's victorious in sets 1 and 2, 25-13 in both sets. Brian Slack, Carlo Dumanin with your call. Let's take a look at some of the stats through the first 2 sets. And San Diego hitting .417, and that's always going to be tough to stop, especially for Portland on their side of the net. The other big one right now is aces. San Diego's got 7 of them. Portland normally leads the conference in aces so far this season, and they have not had much luck there today. And then blocking. We knew that was going to be a point of emphasis for Portland. They've got 0 so far. Now, they've gotten some soft blocks, which has helped the back row, but you're not seeing those immediate points for Portland in that category.
No, and I mean, San Diego's not really getting many blocks, so to speak, either, but it's partly because all of those service aces, and really serve receive is a huge impact for Portland. If they're not taking care of the ball, then they can't get a lot of good swings on the ball, so Toreros are not getting any blocks from it.
And it was a struggle in the first set to get their offense going and their passing. Now, in set number 2, they started out pretty well, and things teetered off there at the end. Overall, don't give up on this Portland team, though. There's a lot of
still a lot of fight.
There's a lot of fight, a lot of spunk in this team. Cannot overlook them.
And everybody loves a Cinderella story.
Exactly.
Right? The underdog.
Helm back to serve to start set number 3. Blossom out to Lukes. Gets the tool and the point. Goddard will come into the front row now, replacing Layla Blackwell. So you have to think maybe Stoner's day is done. They want to get Goddard some run out of the middle. This is only the 3rd match that she has played so far this season, and another ace. Benbow gets this one. And that's her 2nd ace today.
She's definitely taking advantage of the Child Center air currents.
Yep. Sweat got a tip over the middle. That one was just past her. High pass for Froling. She goes line, and the dig by Zilbert. Swing by Robbins, and we got a touch up at the net. That's a point and a kill. And we keep talking about Jade Harris swinging out of the back row. There's a little bit of Maui Robbins sprinkled in there as well.
Yeah.
Bit of a confidence boost for her as well. Against BYU, she got blocked a couple of times, and there's the first block for Portland. Larson and Sweating on that one.
I swear, we just got to talk about it a little bit, about 0 blocks, and then they'll pull one out.
I mean, who brings the energy more than Emma Sweat for Portland? And an unfortunate service error by the Pilots. That is now 10 in today's match. Froling will go back to serve. Froling an AVCA Pacific Region honorable mention last season, and Robbins tried to get her hand underneath, just couldn't get there in time.
But seriously, that's like one of the hardest balls to react to, where it hits off the net and just, it almost popped up and made it like a tip.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one in just a second. As Robbins goes line, Froling, and that one will go out of bounds and outside the pin. So that's a kill for Robbins. But yeah, again, the serve off the top of the net, because the way it's going
down.
Yeah,
almost.
And so it like gets stopped by the net, and what you just said sort of pops up and then over the net.
Mm-hmm.
Some give from the tape. Edwards from the back row. Straight missile for that end line. It didn't even look like Blossom got that one that far above the net on that set.
Nope.
Katie Lukes, redshirt senior, serving for the Toreros. Jump serve. Alive by Larson. Robbins swings cross court through the block. Blossom high set for Edwards, and this one out of bounds.
But you talked about Blossom's hands. Like, she was sliding across the floor on her knees and still was able to push that ball out to the outside hitter.
And still not only got it out there, but had the height for it as well, because she's going down. You've got to account for that.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with her play so far today. Catalan comes in for her first time. Edwards, another kill. And the grad student gets her 5th kill of the afternoon. So with Catalan into the game, Helm will now be swinging in the front row. It's going to be Helm, Bradley, and it looks like Robbins in this rotation. Goddard serving for San Diego. Back set to Bradley, into the block, and the cover. You wouldn't have needed a miracle for that one. It was all the way in the back left corner.
Right, usually your defense has one player deep, but not that deep.
I mean, with San Diego's blocks, for the most part, they've been down. There's been a cover for Portland, so you're not expecting that deep of a ricochet. And out of bounds, Robbins followed that one all the way to the sideline.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to put my foot on that sideline to make sure they cannot call it in.
Yeah, that's what we were taught.
Yep. Make it easy for the line refs.
Yep. Pass by Bennett off the serve. High for Edwards. Did that just go in front of the 10-foot line? Because that was a hard cut.
Seriously, a totally sharp cut around the block.
I don't even know what to say after that one. I mean, that was impressive.
Good wrist snap.
Yeah. I mean, Zilbert, she was hugging that 10-foot line, and she still couldn't get to it. Catalan out to Harris, deep. Oh. And it went outside the pin.
But great idea.
Yeah, Blossom came flying up from the center position.
She was definitely releasing, thinking for reading that short tip, and it would definitely have fallen if it was inside the court.
Overpass. Ooh. Down by Blackwell.
Blackwell takes care of the overpass, point San Diego.
Pilots almost lost a head right there.
Have to be careful up at the net. A 5-point lead for the Toreros, 10-5 here in set 3. Past the end line. 7 service errors, and that ends a 3-0 run for the Toreros. Edwards, tight pass at the net, and the feed to Blackwell, covered by Benbow. Froling went line, and she gets the kill. I couldn't quite see with the up ref in our way, but it dropped right in front of Catalan, who was playing right back. Maddie Allen will give it a shot from the service line. Deep float, and they aced Jade Harris.
Point, San Diego.
10 aces for San Diego today. That ties Maddie Allen's season high of 3 aces in a single match, and Helm gets in on the action with a kill on the right side.
From the right side, point, Pilot.
What I love about that is Catalan got the setup, and then she backed out of the play right there to not get into her hitter's line of sight. There's nothing you can do with that one. And again, amazed by the hands of Blossom going towards the outside pin, and still had it high enough to have Froling get a swing on the right side. Push to the outside. Larson tip over the block. Lukes with an aggressive tip. Overpass as Helm got the dig. Back to Goddard. And Goddard gets another kill. That's 3 for her. "12 kills out of the middle. Benbow, high pass. Froling can only tip it. Tight up in the net. Helm is in a track meet right now.
Yes, marathon.
And the kill for Portland after the long rally.
Long rally and lots of running.
Yeah, I think they just need a timeout to give Helm a breather right there. She was all over the court running around. And it looked like it was just on that sideline where the three-point line of the basketball court and the sideline of volleyball meets. Froling, another kill on the right side, splitting the back row. That'll bring us to the media, 15-8, a 7-point lead for San Diego here in set number 3. They're going for the sweep inside the Child Center on the WCC Network. We just saw a terrific kill from Noelani Helm. 3 kills today, 15 assists.
She does everything. She's a great setter, but she, as you can see, she's now getting to swing also when she's in front row.
Covered by Portland after the block from Goddard. Back row attack from Froling. That was deceptive right there.
Right.
Goddard went on a slide, so you're thinking that's a back set to her, and Froling attacks from the back row.
And it's, the way they set the ball, it's not that much higher. It's not that much more off the net.
Yeah, and she's got the reach too.
Exactly.
Overpass off the serve. San Diego sends it right back over. Robbins staying with it. It's Froling down the line. Deep tip. Back set to Larson. She has to tip. The ball was behind her. Great dig by Harris. Robbins goes line. And just out of bounds. Close one. It hugged that line, but.
Yeah, great idea.
Showing up to one of the earlier practices this season and seeing Helm swinging and setting, I thought she might have a good chance at being named to an all-conference list this season. She's just so athletic, it's hard not to use her swinging at the pin.
Right.
Robbins went cross-court, dug by Allen. And Goddard and Blossom not on the same page right there. Goddard looked like she went on a slide, and I think Blossom wanted a quick C behind her.
It was so deceptive, it deceived them as well.
17-9, Portland trailing San Diego. Zilbert serving. Back set, slide, it's Goddard. Dig by Harris. Back row attack, it's Edwards. No touch at the net. At that point, we'll go to Portland. Luke's just turned on one. She was
totally like facing cross court.
Yeah,
I thought.
She was 4 feet inside and she still went line.
Yeah.
For Luke's at server.
Prees will come in. Luke's will go to the bench. Bennett on the court in the back row as well for San Diego. Robbins, Bradley, and Larson on the attack for Portland. Robbins will get the kill off the block.
She did a nice job of just reaching really high and having a nice top snap on the ball to bring that. Almost looked like it hit over the block.
Here, you're going to look at it right here.
Yeah.
Catalan in the game now, serving as Yellen Larson heads to the bench. Back set to Goddard on the slide.
Welcome to back. Welcome to right back defense.
Yeah. That was barely past the 10-foot line on the slide from Goddard. She'll head to the bench. Hoagland comes in to serve. Good pass from Robbins. They feed the middle. It's Bradley.
Oh, I love how Catalan is so excited getting to feed the middle.
And this is what San Diego's been doing most of this game, is feeding the middle. And when you have that type of success, and you love to see it on Portland's side, that's why Charity Bradley is playing the middle blocker position. Edwards with another kill. She's got 7 now on the day.
For Bennett in the front row for San Diego.
And what's kind of deceptive about Edwards is she doesn't get it very high off the ground, and it's a quick swing from her. It's compact. Like, you know, you look at Maui, and she really extends all the way back and gets into it.
Reaches high and with a really nice high snap to roll the ball into the court. But yeah, Edwards is definitely like fast swing, fast off her hands, and just it's got momentum as she comes off of her hand.
We'll be right back inside the Child Centers. 20-12, San Diego leading on the WCC Network. Welcome back inside the Child Center. Brian Slack and Carly Dumanin with your call. Helm with the swing covered by the Pilots. Harris goes cross court. Benbow keeps it going for San Diego. Roll, Catalan on the dig. Covered by Catalan. Harris, deep swing. She wanted a touch. Zilbert wanted a touch. I could hear her.
Oh,
and
so
Coach
does
Burton.
Coach Burton.
Yeah, Coach Burton's going to go for the challenge.
Portland will challenge. There's a touch on the block.
You know, when you got a player that's working so hard to try to get a kill and reaching for those high hands, I think Coach Burton's wanted to reward her player and be like, yes, that was a nice hit. You should get a point for that.
I think she's done a good job this season, too, of listening to her players and understanding when to challenge, when not to challenge. Because every time your player's going to be like, no, I didn't touch it, or, you know, I did touch it, whatever it is in that case. But she's had good judgment in that way in picking her challenges. See if there's a touch on this block. It actually looks like you might have had Froling.
With a finger.
Yeah, who's the near blocker.
I mean, their hands are so high up there.
Right.
It's like you got to think, it had to have touched one of them.
This is Donna Hess, is the down referee today. She had a lot of work on Thursday in that BYU match, a lot of challenges. This is the first time she makes her way over to the replay monitor today. Here's another look from the backside. That one I didn't see much of a touch.
Right.
Now, as we learned on Thursday, we don't know what we're looking at because Donna Hess made a couple calls that we thought were one way and she called it the other way. Now she's got different angles than we have on the broadcast. So it's really up in the air, but off of that last angle, it didn't look like there was a touch on the fingers. There's another angle.
But
and again, now this angle's looking down, so you have to realize with that it's going to look a bit different than when we had on some of the other angles.
right. But as you saw that replay, you could just see the towering hands over the net. And what a difficult job it is for Jade Harris to get somewhere in the court when they're taking away so much of the court with those hands.
You talked about it when we came back going into set 3. Here's another look from our first angle. Looking at that again and seeing the other ones, I don't know if she necessarily got a touch on that one. Still over at the scorer's table.
Catalan's trying to stay warm.
Quick agility drills.
Right, yeah. She only got into the third set, so she's got to stay warm. She's just getting into things.
Now, we talked about this coming back into set 3. The amount of blocks that San Diego's had, minimal, really. I mean, they only have 4 in the match. They had 3 coming into set number 3, and I think that's a testament to what Portland's been doing, covering very well and hitting around the block or going high off hands.
Right.
And for a team that isn't necessarily the tallest up at the net, they've done a great job of avoiding the block and having it come back in their face.
So they're definitely aware of it and making smart decisions to avoid it.
Yeah, they're not trying to go hard cross all the time. We've seen a lot of rolls. And that point will go to San Diego, so no touch called. So we're ready to resume play. 21-12, San Diego leading Portland. Harris tip over the block. Blossom comes flying in for the first touch.
Thought she was going to slide right under the net.
And tip over the block. That'll be a kill for Edwards. She now has 8 kills. She's one off the match high for 9, which belongs to Katie Lukes. And an ace.
Blossom with an ace. Point, San Diego.
That's what's been tough for Portland. It's just the passing has just been so inconsistent. And when you're playing a team like this, you got to almost be perfect.
Helm tried to go for the dump, and that's an overpass. Tried to put it high for Harris at the pin, and too much rotation on it, brought it over the net and out of bounds. Match point, 24-12. Dump by Helm. Oh, that was filthy.
Let me just put this one right there.
And it wasn't straight over, it was behind her too.
Yeah.
With her right hand. Normally you get a dump with your left hand going across your body. She went right hand over her shoulder. Great play right there by Helm. Overpass. Quick to Harris, and that'll be a kill. So some life for the Pilots here at the end of set number 3, even on match point.
Yep, they're still going to show some skill.
Harris now with 9 kills. Blocked by Portland. Emma Sweat coming up with her second block.
Love it.
15, serving, match point.
Actually, Sweat had to reach a little bit on that one. Harris was up in the right spot. Froling takes it high for Edwards. That's a pancake, that bowls up. outside, throwing into the block, covered by Prees. Middle this time, and another block for Portland. Blackwell can't cover.
Makes you think they had made this switch earlier and let Helm play, you know.
Yeah, play all the way around.
Mm-hmm. What kind of game would it be?
So 3 blocks now for Portland. They're on a 4-0 run here on match point. Blocked again! Mark off the streets. We've got a block party going on right now.
Exactly.
17 serving match point.
Portland had no blocks coming into this set. They now have 4. And an ace!
Timeout, San Diego.
Coach Petrie, first time she's had to call a timeout today. It's a 6-0 Portland run. It's 24-18 in set number 3. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Well, Portland's on a 6-0 run. A timeout called by San Diego's. It's now 24-18. Still match point. Froling gets a chance, and Robbins gets it up. And you hate to see how that goes down for Portland. San Diego gets the victory 25-18, and tough spot to be in. There's not much you can really do. You were just trying to get out of the way, and the ball went straight up. It was right over you. So it's a 3-set sweep for San Diego. Carly, any final thoughts on today's match?
Well, it was nice to see those last couple of points to see a little glimmer of what we will hope to see from Portland, right? Getting those blocks in. Seeing Helm hit all the way around was really nice switch, but it was just too much. San Diego just was too much for the Portland Pilots to handle today.
Yeah, tough one. They made it close at the end. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule for the Pilots. On October 8th, they're at Gonzaga, and then they play San Diego on the 13th, back on the road on the 15th at San Francisco. And then they're at home against Pepperdine, which will be on Portland's CW. And Pepperdine, another ranked opponent for the Pilots that they will have to face this season. Well, to everybody tuning in, thank you for catching today's action. Thank you to the production crew upstairs. That was Carly Dumanin on the call with me. I'm Brian Slyke. We'll catch you next time on the WCC Network.